All right, hello, LinkedIn and YouTube. We have a special treat for you today. We're going to talk about tips for engaging the online data community and for online networking. With me today, I've got some really amazing guests. We've got Susan Walsh, the classification guru, Scott Taylor, the data whisperer, who's
Hey everybody, how are you? I'm the CDO, the Chief Dog Officer. That's
course,
enough, right? That's enough for you. This is my show here, so get it. Come on, it's just enough. Hi.
Hi, thank you. We've got Harpreet Sahota. Did I say that right?
That's right. Yep. Nice to meet you, everybody. What's going on?
Hello. We've got Andrew Jones here.
Hello.
He's in a Lego cell or something. We got George Sirican, lights on data with the green background, all right, with some bubbles. And Ravit Jain. Hello. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
What a crowd.
Yeah.
Thanks, what a powerhouse crowd here.
And we might have a few more join us later on, but I think we're all good to get started and talk about tips on with online networking and engaging the data community. But before we do that, I think we can spend 20 seconds, your 20-second pitch, your intro. Just tell people who you are so they know, what you stand for and basically what you work on. Susan.
Hi, everyone. I'm Susan Walsh. I'm the classification guru, fixer of dirty data, creator of code, and specialist in spend data classification.
All right, awesome. Scott. I should have saved Scott for last, but Scott.
I have some slides. Can I share some slides first? No, Scott Taylor's that data whisperer. I help calm data down, and I'm out there as doing data evangelism as a service to help people understand and reinforce the strategic power and value of proper data management. Also the father of Tech Talk Puppets and friend and fan of Kate.
Okay, awesome. Harpreet.
What's up, everybody? I'm Harpreet Sahota. I am a data scientist at Price Industries, also principal mentor at Data Science Dream Job, and host of the Artists of Data Science podcast.
Awesome. I see Ravit next to my boxes there.
Hi, guys. I'm Ravit. I'm the senior marketing executive at Pact and also the host of the Ravit Show. Obviously, Kate has been the first guest, and I've kicked off the show just last month. Next is Tomorrow with Jennifer Cooper. Thanks, Kate, for giving me the opportunity to plug my show.
Awesome. Thank you for having me as a guest on your show. It was a lot of fun. Definitely check out Ravit's show. George.
And I'm George Ferican, the founder of lightsondata.com, its YouTube channel, and the Good Data Morning Show, which is following right after this, actually. And I teach people how their data can rock, right? So I provide valuable content in terms of videos and courses and so forth and so on.
I thought you were going to say, George, the friendly data guy. I was waiting for that.
Yeah, I need a data moniker, guys. I need some help there. If you have any advice, any recommendations, what I should, have next to my name, like the classification guru, like data whisperer, let me know.
All right, awesome. And
you need a moniker, George, for sure.
I do.
Yeah. Let's put it out there to everyone watching, see what they think.
Yeah, let's see what they think. So let's hear from Andrew.
Yeah, so hi, I'm Andrew Jones. I'm a data scientist. I'm currently creating a data science program called Data Science Infinity, which is all about getting into data science in the right way. So learning the right content, which is based on my own experience, as well as speaking to hundreds of leaders and recruiters and hiring managers within the field. And then also offering unlimited access to dedicated guidance and support throughout your journey. So it's not about learning in 6 weeks or in 3 months and you will become a data scientist. We all know there's no shortcuts and it's a lifelong journey. So it sort of goes along with that. And that's coming out very soon. It's going to be launched in October. So in about 2 weeks, middle of October.
Awesome. That's really cool. Where can people go for like learning, signing up for a wait list or something like that?
So you can either go to analytics-link.com, which is my analytics company, or you can go to datascienceinfinity.teachable.com and you can find out everything about the course there. Or of course, if you're on LinkedIn, then which you are because you're watching this, then just DM me and I will be happy to help in any way possible. So just get in touch and we can discuss.
Awesome. And look, we've got a bonus guest here, IKEA Andreas or something. Is that IKEA? So this is Andreas Kretz. Hey, Andres, we're just doing intros. You're the last guy on, so go ahead.
Yeah, I actually didn't know. I actually didn't know that it was live, so I totally forgot. I just wanted to come on and say hi to everyone.
Hi. Drive safely.
Andres.
Andres, you want to tell people who you are, what you do?
Yeah, hi. My name is Andreas Kretz. I'm a data engineer, and I have a website, teamdatascience.com, where I teach data engineering, and yeah, I'm doing basically courses and coaching. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. So let's see. We got some comments. Vipul says, "Whoa, everyone has assembled. Is this a surprise live scheduled?" Yeah, this is not scheduled really. We just said, "Hey, maybe we should go live on Friday," and here we are. So if you guys have questions for this amazing panel, please feel free to put them in the chat, and we'll try to get through as many as we can. The topic is online engagement, building a community, engaging in the community, all in the data space. So feel free to ask questions. I think one thing we can start with is, why is it important to have an online presence, your personal brand, to engage the data community online? Whoever wants to start with that, please jump in.
I think you got to show your passion, because your passion is infectious, and it's great to just spread the good word there, inspire others really to showcase what they have learned, share with others. I mean, I think LinkedIn is really all about learning, all about connecting with people, learning from one another, and just really improving your professional career.
Mm-hmm.
I started LinkedIn to sell my business, but then it turned into sharing my knowledge and my passion and just having fun. And actually, I get so much more out of it by doing that.
I mean, it's just a way to scale networking. Networking's been important in business since there was business. So this social platform allows us to do that at scale, and connect to people that you would never physically get to in any kind of way. And now, especially now that none of us are physically with each other anymore for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
And as George said, you want to establish credibility, you want to establish your thought leadership, you want to establish your point of view. All that helps when you're trying to then eventually have some sort of commercial or business relationship with somebody, because they feel they know you and they know what you stand for.
Yeah, and we can't really go see anybody at this point, right? So it's important to engage online. It's kind of all we've got at this point. So, all right, anyone want to add to that? Why is it important to have your personal brand or engage the data community?
Well, I think if you're looking to get into the field, so I'm talking to a lot of aspiring data scientists at the moment, and they're looking to get their first role in the field. So the fact is, you can actually win over a recruiter or a hiring manager to some degree before they've even met you or talked to you on the phone. If your personal brand looks good and you're commenting in the right way and you're showing that you're learning, or you've got a willingness to develop your skills, then that's the sort of thing that is going to consciously or subconsciously is going to work in your favor. So it's definitely worth building up your brand, and you don't have to start, you're not going to get to the top straight away. You've got to sort of build it slowly, but it is worth starting, definitely.
Mm-hmm. To piggyback on that, I think like your brand, your reputation, your character, these are things that you can build for yourself. And in a field where everybody essentially has the same skill set as just table stakes, if you want to build your brand, your reputation, your character, by engaging in the community, by putting your thoughts out there and sharing your viewpoint, you're going to differentiate yourself from everybody else that's out there.
That's actually a very good point, Unread. That's how I started, like, what was it, 4.5 years ago. Like, I wanted to basically build my reputation, show that what I can do outside of a company, because usually when you work in a bigger company, your reputation is within this company only. And when you share your ideas, share your knowledge online, then you can also build your reputation online. So it's not bound to like one company, one employer. Mm-hmm. And that's the main thing: sharing good ideas, sharing your knowledge. That's what I've learned is the most fun.
And if you're posting, you're already in the top 2% of LinkedIn, because most users are very passive.
Yeah.
If even that, right? It's posting more than once a week or even once a month all of us are like way in that, top 0.00001% in terms of just continually putting content out there with a distinctive point of view and consistency. That's core to it.
Yes, thank you.
Also, I guess the personal branding is so much important today. It's not just about, I came in here representing Pact, but somehow I found my own individual personality here. I started sharing, and it actually, people start liking it. And that's where you get that exposure. That exposure is important. And LinkedIn is actually giving you that. Then why not utilize it?
And everybody in the world is really the best at something. And that one thing for sure everybody is best in the world at is being themselves. And 15, 20 years ago, that would have been worthless advice.
Yeah.
But now with social media and these platforms that we have to share our ideas, we can really capitalize on that. And we can be ourselves and share what we know with other people.
Yeah.
And I'd say it was since I was in business 15, 20 years ago, it's always been there at some level. The ability to do this at scale and to do this on this type of platform is where stuff really takes off. But 20 years ago, I was writing articles in magazines when what people did was write articles in magazines. So that notion of a personal brand, of a particular reputation has grown like crazy over the last couple decades. But it's been there for longer than maybe folks realize. That's been my experience.
Well, I definitely felt like I couldn't really be me when I was working in the corporate world. That's why I left it, because I felt so stifled and so repressed, and I couldn't have jokes and say inappropriate things, or whatever, or have a pink spangly background. Now it's like, yeah, this is me and I don't care, and it works. So it definitely works.
Yeah, and people remember it, Susan. So definitely it stands out, just like Scott with his puppets. I saw that Jordan Morrow has joined us.
Hey,
Jordan.
Yeah, better late than never, I guess.
Yes, well, you're here now. So we'll take a 20-second intro from you, and then you can share your thoughts on why it's important to have like an online presence in the data space.
Well, for that, I'll just say amen, because I've heard what everybody is saying. But to introduce myself, I'm Jordan Marl, Global Head of Data Literacy at Click, also known as the Chief Nerd Officer. So happy to be here and share some thoughts. But I really can't add. I would just echo what people are saying. I think that the one thing I would emphasize for people is, in a time when social interaction is needed, especially from our careers, LinkedIn provides the best platform to do that, unless you're setting up virtual coffee chats and things like that. Jump in, introduce yourself to people, and get to know them. That's how Kate and I first met. And now, a few years later, she's still regretting our first meeting, but we've become good friends.
Yes, absolutely. That's exactly. Yeah, I remember reaching out to Jordan when I had a question about Click, and I think your name came up when I searched for the word Click, because you probably had put content out about Click and data, and I remember just sending you a message, which brings us to a question from Ayush here. He's asking, how do you guys like to start a conversation with a new connection, right? Do you start with something in common or ask about experiences? For me, when I was reaching out to Jordan, I literally had an actual question I wanted to ask, and he was the person I wanted to ask. And I think those two things are actually very important. Actually need something from a person, requesting information, and knowing that is the right person to go to, versus randomly messaging the word hi to everybody in your network or outside your network and expecting magic to happen, right? I had an actual question. I said, hey, Jordan, I don't know Click. I need to teach Click next week at a corporation. Can you get on a call? And he's like, yeah, we can chat in 2 weeks. And I'm like, no, I kind of need to chat right now. And I remember you got on a call like 20 minutes later, and yeah, now he can't get rid of me. He's speaking at the Dedicated conference. We wrote a book together. So that was my approach. But would love to hear from the rest of you guys. How do you start a conversation with a new connection?
I think, Kate, it's similar to what you said. Whoever said, don't just come up and say hi. I mean, if you were physically in a room with somebody at a conference and you were in a networking engagement, would you just walk up and go, hi? How are you? I mean, that you're not going to get that kind of discussion going. So having some sort of intention, understanding who that person might be, what they might be interested in, thinking about what you might be able to share with them that they might be interested in, and you just get it going. But these random, how are you doing? I get these notes too. And it's, luckily there's that auto reply and just go fine. And go from there. But it's no different than doing it in person in a lot of ways. So I think people might forget that.
At least you're getting a how are you? I'm not even getting that.
Oh no, I get, can we be friends? No, not friends.
If I could chime in on this one. First of all, Ayush, good to see you here, man. I like the content you're pushing out. But just ask a question that is worthy of getting a response. Because if you're asking something that you can easily Google, I'm not Google for you, man. Like, I'm not going to type that into Google and just give you the response, right? So if you want a response from somebody, just ask a question that is worthy of getting a response, right? So that's going to, it's going to require a little bit more thoughtfulness on your end, but it will shine through in the message that you put some thought and effort behind it.
Yeah.
Well, and I would add real quick that thoughtfulness that Harpreet just said, this is your career, right? And when you're networking with people, this is your career. You want to make the best career you have. Having thoughtful, think it through. Like Susan just said, I had someone almost propose to me with their first introduction. The comment was, I asked, why did you reach out? And she said, to find a husband. I said, well, I'm happily married with 5 kids. So, not the guy you're looking for. This isn't a dating site. Have concrete questions. Some of the best connections I have are like Kate's question, where it was specific. Is it data literacy? Is it data science? Like Andrew said, right? Be specific, think it through, and great relationships form.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if you had said yes, sure?
I should have played that one out for a while just to see what the heck would happen.
I was just going to say, so this is more of a personal connection type thing, but say like a year ago when I had a lot less connections and I was trying to build up a business network and sell myself to other people. Once a week I would message the connections that I'd made that week and say, hi, I'm Susan, this is what I do, here's my website. I know what it's like to be bothered, so I won't be contacting you again, but I've attached some information. If you ever need anything or want to have a chat, get in touch. And then the onus is on them to contact me if they want anything. And I got a couple of really nice responses saying, that's a really great approach. And even now, somebody who I messaged in March just emailed me or messaged me on LinkedIn this week to say, could you email me that information to my work address? So it sticks in their mind. You've moved on and gone, but it sticks in their mind. So even if it's CVs, make your CV stand out so that someone might remember in 2-3 months' time what your CV looked like and what your skills were.
Yeah, I have a follow-up question for this. Let's say you've put in, a few minutes and you've put some thought into this and you've asked let's say ask Jordan, and I heard crickets because maybe Jordan's busy. Maybe he's just on vacation and then he got 100 other messages after mine and he just missed it. What do you guys think about follow-ups, right? Let's say you really want to talk to this specific person. It's not just like, hey, just anybody in the data space, talk to me. Hi, how are you? It's the specific person that you want, but you haven't received a response in like a week. Do you recommend that people follow up and say, hey, not sure if you got my message, or do you think that's annoying? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's the tone of the follow-up. I get people who ping me, and then 2 days later, I get like 5 question marks, like they've been waiting.
Oh, God, no.
And, I appreciate them reaching out, wanting to know something from me, but I don't owe you anything yet.
Yeah.
Right? So that is annoying when your impatience shows through. Now, if it's a week and you've got another reason, just like anything else, follow up in a nice, considerate way. And, I grew up in sales, in door-to-door sales, and my perspective I got from my father was nobody owes you anything. So going into even today, even in social interaction, and thinking that helps you have that patience and also persistence to go, okay, I got to really target this. But, don't follow up an hour later and go, did you see my note yet? Have you done anything?
Well, all of us have got lots of connections as well. We're all getting lots of messages. We have a big inbox to go through too sometimes. Not that I'm bragging, but my big inbox. But
no, I know I'm guilty of that. I do have quite a bit of unread messages and requests coming in that I haven't checked yet just because I don't have the time. I usually go on a weekly basis. Every Saturday morning with my coffee, I go through them. But again, I think it's what Scott said. I've had people follow up with me and commenting on my post saying, hey, I've tried to connect with you. You didn't get back to me yet because of this and that. I'm trying to reach out to ask you about this topic and that. Can you help me out? And I'll be more than happy to connect most of the time if it's not sort of the question marks and the aggressiveness of the knocking on my door. But
I think it follows the etiquette of the first message that you send. If you've got a genuine shared interest or a mutual benefit or a reason for messaging, if you just reiterate that again, the person's most likely going to message you back. The reason is, like you said, Kate, is most likely because it's skipped their mind or because it's gone down their inbox. I don't think anyone's purposefully ignoring you. It's more that they are busy. And if you do remind them, but just remind them again why you're messaging, and most of the time they will get back to you.
Yeah, and I think it's important to, with that first message initially, don't make that a one-page message. Make that short enough that people know your intention and ask a question, right? So this way you actually get a response. I think that's a lot better than sending everyone a really, really long message and then doing a follow-up that says, hey, look, I sent you all this and you never responded. Typically, I think 98% of the time, you can quote me on that statistic, that's a copy-paste message, right? If it's really, really long, that means people have not taken the time, unless it's all about you, or like, Andrew, you have this company and Infinity and blah, blah, blah. Then obviously you know that that's directed for you. But that first message, I think, is very important. I actually appreciate the follow-up sometimes because a lot of times I truly miss the messages due to volume. And I love LinkedIn. It's by far my favorite platform, but the messaging, the inbox it could be improved.
It just piles up. Yep, for sure.
I think the magic line you can add at the end of all your messages is just even a 1 or 2 line response would make my day, because then you're signaling to the person that first of all, you'd really appreciate a response, and you're not asking for much, just a 1 or 2 line response. Now, it doesn't mean that I'm have to commit myself to paragraphs and essays, just 1 or 2 lines to answer your question.
That's a good, I'm going to try that myself. That's a good one. And I've definitely had people who have not responded to me from the first message, and then I've sent them a follow-up message, and then I was so glad they responded because that led to other opportunities. We have Ayush back here saying that I think it's a good way to get attention, by commenting on posts of that person. I definitely agree, because I know if somebody's commented on 8 of my last posts and they actually had a thoughtful comment, not like,
oh, that's nice, yeah.
Like if they actually engaged, I will remember their name, and I'll remember, their picture, and I'll remember them when they message me again or for the first time. I'm like, oh, okay, I kind of know them because they've been engaging in my content. But how do you guys feel about that?
That's how I met Susan. Yeah. She just kept showing up. I was like, who's this person? And it was like, oh, that's fun. And then she had some, her sense of humor came out really clearly. And then I got really used to it. Like, oh, if I didn't get a like from Susan in a minute, obviously my timing's off. And we became great friends here already. I mean, it's all pure LinkedIn. I don't know where we would have met otherwise. And so, yeah, it definitely works. If you're trying to get somebody's attention, a nice way to do it is to talk about what they are already doing and in that environment, because we're all out there putting our opinion out. And if somebody likes that opinion, of course, we want to support that.
Yeah.
I got to say, I think Susan and Ravit, they're so generous and engaging with the posts. And I appreciate it. And really all of you. But it's Susan and Ravit that, as soon as I post, they're clicking, commenting something on it, that if they don't, I think there's something wrong with LinkedIn.
Yeah. Keep it up, guys.
Sometimes though I do miss posts, but I'm a proper addict. I really am. It's like, must
the same goes with me. It's like, actually, I think it's about the content as well. When, you have that interesting content, if you're putting something about Stranger Things, George, how can you expect us to miss that? Or, the videos you create are so awesome. It highly depends on the content, but also depends on, how people get to you and how they make that sense to you, when they post on your content. So,
yeah. On you go. Sorry.
No, you go.
Just be authentic, so I don't just like randomly lots of stuff. I'll only like and comment on things that I genuinely am interested in.
Exactly.
I forgot what I was going to say. Something about, I think the quality of, the way you create your posts and content. There are some posts that are easy to engage with, right? If you post an actual question that and I feel like you care about an answer, I'll absolutely stop what I'm doing and take the time to answer that. But some posts are actually hard to engage with and a lot of my recent posts, I'll admit, are probably difficult to engage with because every one of them is like, hey, look, my conference, look, my data.
We like them right away too, Kate, just like you asked us to. We immediately like all those, yes.
Have you signed up yet? Like, how do you engage with that, right? And I'm guilty of doing that. And it's just because I'm so excited about the conference and I truly just want to talk about it all the time. Try not to talk about it right now. But I think there are some posts, like you can end a post, kind of like Harpreet said, you can end a message. You can ask people what their thoughts are. And I think that invites more engagement on your content. So
definitely.
We've got a question from Vipul here. There's some negativity going out there with respect to personal branding in data science or in data. And lots of people are shying away because of it, especially towards those who are aspiring to be in the data field. What are your thoughts on it?
Oh, what's the negativity?
Yeah, I've not encountered any of this.
Yeah,
man.
so
it might just be, it just might be, it might be a hesitancy with yourself that you are hesitant to post content because you're fearful of what other people might have to say about the content you're posting. And if that's the case, man, just post it anyways. Like there's nothing wrong with doing that.
Yeah. I was going to say that. Be your authentic self, man. Don't worry. Who cares? There's negativity everywhere you go. I mean, I popped on the news today here in the United States, and negativity was rampant with the president's positive COVID test. And it's like you can sit there and be drawn in to the negativity, or be your authentic self. Like Chief Nerd Officer is the nickname that was given to me. I wear that with a happy banner because that's what I am. Right. And people would be like, do you really call yourself that? Absolutely. And I wear a shirt around that says, who cares what any detractor or naysayers. And a lot of times, and I tell people this, if you look at the psychology of the naysaying and things like that, it's people projecting out their insecurities. So don't worry about it. Be yourself and good things happen.
Yeah, I agree. I agree completely. Although we all know this, on social media, there is less of a barrier for people and their negativity to shine through. Like the things that people say to people, to me, to anybody on social media, they would never say that if they were in the same room as you or in face, if other people were around. So I think people do see that, and it probably does come through as a barrier to sharing. But I think that the best thing you can do is, and this is what I try and do, and I sort of made a promise to myself that I would do this in every one of my posts, is that if I'm always positive and I'm always inclusive, and I even put a hashtag on the end of my post, which is positive vibes only, I just try and send positivity out to the world and hope that sort of stops any negative thoughts coming back in, but it doesn't. But it is a tricky one, because social media is something that people will, they will attack you for no real reason. But I agree with the others. Just post it anyway, and continue to build your confidence in posting it, and you will get more positive comments than negative comments. But it's sometimes those negative ones which stick with you. But you just have to keep going, because I know if you asked any one of these other people here, they would tell you they get just as many, if not more, negative comments. And it's not that it doesn't affect them. If I get a negative comment, it genuinely affects me. I sit there thinking, like, have I actually got this wrong? Even though there was 99 positive comments and one negative comment, that's the one which sticks with me. So don't think that you're alone in this. It is a thing.
Do you think they're too scared to troll me, though? Because I do troll the trolls. And I do enjoy it. I enjoy it. Yeah.
But you know what times
when we group and we're defending each other. We come to each other's aid, but I think trolling is just almost a rite of passage.
I gotta say,
I agree with you, but it's tough. My very first post I did by myself when I left a brand, and I was by myself. I put all this thought into it, and it was a long article. And one of the early responses was really negative, and it really jolted me. And I was pretty upset about it. I was like, this is, I'm laying myself bare here. This is my thinking about the space. I'm trying to build something, and some guy just pounded me on it. And what I did was I actually reached out to him directly, and he's now one of my best followers. But we found the place where he was kind of taking exception with it. I think his wording could have been nicer. But I did that with some early folks who were like, actually, anybody who really came at me vehemently, I tried to connect with them outside of that comment stream, and most of them I've converted, but some of them are just like.
Not everyone's meant to be converted.
Not everyone. Yeah, I mean, I had this DM conversation with this guy who got literally really aggressive, like physically aggressive, and I never had that.
Did he come to your house?
No, it was just like, what are you waiting for? See, you don't know, blah, blah, blah. And he started going, ding, 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 like, oh, you're thinking now? It was like freaky. I mean, I never had that kind of digital experience.
That is aggressive.
Like you said, when you're putting valuable content out there and you're getting that first negative comment, that's when you know you made it. That's, you got to take it. It's the rite of passage.
So, yeah, it's like, I had one guy say bullshit. I went, all right, I guess that's.
Sorry, everybody. I do need to step up.
Okay, George, have fun at your own live. For
Thank
everyone who wants to follow George in his live, go to his channel.
Morning data.
Cheers, everybody.
Bye, George. All the best.
Good, George.
But actually, that's a good point that George just said. Don't make beige content. Say what your opinion is. Say what your thoughts are, what you believe in, what are your interests. Yeah, otherwise, nobody's going to read it anyway.
Yeah.
It's going to be too boring. And look, guys, we just traded George in for T. Scott Clendaniel. Hey.
God, welcome.
Hello there. I know I'm a poor substitute, but I'm here.
I'm going to assume you missed the first.
Actually, no. I was watching it on LinkedIn. I had trouble connecting the first thing. It couldn't access my mic and speaker or something like that.
Well, you're here now. So for those who don't know, you want to do a 20-second intro before we ask you questions?
Sure. I'm Scott Clendaniel. I'm older than dirt. I started this field in 1986. So I am very happy to be part of this esteemed group. I'm currently working as lead data scientist for Franklin Templeton.
Okay, awesome. Thanks for being here.
There was data in 1986? They had data way back then?
Oh, no. No, I was 12th intern from the left at Citicorp. Yeah.
Nice. Well, I'll point out, Kate. Kate, were you live in 1986? We'll just throw that one out there.
I don't think so. Not to my knowledge.
I'm old too. I'm old too, man. Say something nasty to Jordan. Okay, good.
Who was working in 1986? There, raise your hand.
Yeah.
I was working on being born. That's what I was doing.
You still had 10,000 followers. That's the thing. The highest prenatal following of anyone on LinkedIn.
Anyways, I think that's
linked by umbilical cord. So whatever link you can get.
Okay, question for you guys. It's not on the exact topic we're talking about, but we'll take it. So in the data field, does the requirement come first or a thought idea comes first?
Either.
That depends.
And the reason I say that is it's great to have a thought and to record it, and you might have a current project you can test it on. Or I save mine in a notebook, and critically ugly idea notebook for things to test in the future. I think it depends on how much time you have and you devote to it. If you're devoting a lot of time, you'd better have a customer requirement. There you go.
Everyone's got notebooks.
I'm fully digital.
Oh, I'm not digital.
I'm not.
I tried.
My problem is I can't read my handwriting, so when I get back to the idea, I'm like, oh, geez, what was my idea?
Okay, guys, so back to posting. I know we mentioned a little bit around negativity and hesitation. I'm assuming not, everyone here had a very similar experience. This could be a false assumption, but when you posted for the first time ever, right, you actually put some content together, a video, a post, whatever, a photo. Did you have any hesitation? What was it? What did you think was going to happen? And then what was the reality?
Like for me, it's not like I eased in. I didn't ease in with like posting and stuff, right? Like I just started a podcast, and that was like my first hello world. And that was back
That's a great example. I love that.
That was back in April. And I was like, you know what? Like if people are going to say something, well, whatever, it doesn't matter. At least I'm doing something that I know is going to be helping other people and will be creating value for other people, right? So when you come at it from that perspective, right, that I know that what I'm doing is going to be beneficial to other people, then why would you not do it? Why would you hesitate?
Mm-hmm.
But I think fear is natural. Isn't public speaking like the #1 public fear? And I think people view it in that vein, as opposed. I can tell you what helped me, and something I learned the hard way. I don't always follow it, but the more you can provide something that's actually useful to somebody else. For example, cheat sheets. You provide cheat sheets, and like LinkedIn blows up. I'm like, okay, I've posted the same cheat sheets from one company a couple times because people found it so useful. But the reason it helped me was the fact is like, okay, the cheat sheets were helpful for me. Maybe they'll be helpful for somebody else. And that sort of takes the fear away, or did for me. And as a side note, always attribute the author in your article, which is really good.
And today's lesson.
That's today's lesson, yes. Useful contact, mentioning the author.
Hey, look who else joined us.
Attribution, baby. There's Tom, the father of us all.
Hey, Tom.
Sorry,
man, the myth, the legend.
Sorry, I'm late.
We are having fun today, man. I didn't know we were going, but we've got almost everyone on here. This is awesome. So, Tom, do you want to do a 20-second intro, and then we'll throw a question at you?
I don't think I can fill 20 seconds except by talking uselessly like this. Hi, I'm Tom.
He's going to say it really slowly. Oh, my name is Tom.
Oh, look, we're dropping. People are not watching anymore. What's happening? I wonder what's happening to viewership.
Okay, quick correlation. Daniel comes on, attendance drops. Oh, that's pretty clear.
Now, repeat coding.
How long have you guys not been members? Because I think I joined up in like 2006 when it was literally
2006. That's when I joined.
2009, I think.
Yeah, I think maybe 7 or 8. But I didn't really do much until beginning of last year, and then that's when I started posting a lot of stuff. And I built my, I had this consistent strategy trying to build up a following. Anytime anybody liked something of mine, I went to that person, I sent them an invite. I got really good at this custom invite sort of hack I had. I didn't use any technology, but I would paste in a link to another piece of content. So if I had a particular, like my angle, like once the puppet show came out, that was kind of like my breakthrough thing, but I had this cartoon before that. So I'd paste in something, oh, thank you for your reaction to this video. You might enjoy this. And so I feel
like you still do that, right, Scott? Because I think my niece connected with you and she's like, he's so nice. He sent me this video right after. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure he did.
Yeah. That's great. Looking for the engagement there, baby. That's for sure. So that's built up and that worked. So a lot of people, I would do it all. If I had a particularly good post and I had a couple hundred likes, not that I'm bragging, but we all been there. And then you just go and then you wait until LinkedIn just kicks you off. So it gets to the point that, oops, you have too many invitations. You should send them more thoughtfully or whatever. And I actually always thought, this person liked me. Your algorithm knows that this person connected with me. They'll give me a hard time. But you're only allowed to send out a certain number of invitations in a day. And then, or in a time period. And I kind of broke through that. And then I got to the, limited connections, which is very exciting. But that was how I built a lot of the following I have, where these personal invites to anybody. I figured anybody who liked my stuff, why wouldn't they want more? That was kind of my innocent approach, and it seemed to work.
Yeah, well, I remember posting for the first time myself. And so I've had LinkedIn since 2009, but I didn't really start posting until maybe 5-6 years ago, probably 5 years ago, when I really got into it. But my first post, my biggest fear was that somebody I know would see it. And I don't know why I cared so much. Like, what if my brother saw this? What if my colleagues saw this? And it freaked me out. I'm like, they know me and they're going to see this. And somebody here, Greg, said the best way to overcome fear of public speaking or posting here is to know what you're talking about. And I think that was very much in line for me. It's not that I knew what I was talking about. I just made sure to stay authentic and not make people think I knew something more than what I conveyed that I knew, right? Just like tell people I didn't know anything about this and be honest about it. So that really helped me. But I think what I expected to happen was people I knew would just message me and say, "Oh my God, you post." I don't know what I thought they're gonna say, but like, "Oh my God, you posted on social media. What are you doing?" The reality was nobody cared at all. Like the struggle now is to actually get people to look at your stuff. You can send them that they still won't look. So.
Also, be willing to say when you don't know something. I find that it is much more offensive when someone claims to know what they're talking about and go on some big diatribe and find out it's completely wrong. When someone asks me a question, and I get several questions for whatever reason on LinkedIn messaging. Do you know how to use the inverse hoop-de-doo curve on red blood cell destruction? And I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I would be happy to help. Here's an article I found, but I think you're in much better shape to just say, gee, great question. I don't know. There is a very small but very vocal group of folks out there who think they invented the internet, and they are very hard to deal with, as opposed to just saying, I have a lot more respect if somebody says, no, but try this, or no, that, or here's another great contact in the field who does know the answer.
My common response to a lot of questions I get is, I'm the why, not the how. So you got to find how to do that.
That's great.
I don't know,
I don't know why this question keeps, go ahead, Kate.
Sorry, just one thing. Ravid said he had to drop. So Ravid, just tell people about your next show and then you can head out.
Okay, so next show is tomorrow, 11 a.m. ET, and Jennifer Cooper is the guest, so everyone's welcome. We'll have some great fun. We'll have some great insight from Jennifer Cooper. Thanks, Kate. Thank you, everyone. Have an amazing weekend. Bye, guys.
All right, thanks.
Ravid and Jennifer are both great. Tune in for that.
One of our DataVengers, yes.
Yes. All right,
Data
sorry
Vengers,
to whomever I interrupted. I didn't see who was talking, but please take it away.
It was probably
I get confused why this question of who invented the internet keeps coming back up, because I thought it was definitively Al Gore, wasn't it?
Who cares?
That's what he claimed.
Really? Who cares?
Well, okay, never mind.
Kate, I would love to know more about how you've managed to grow your audience so much.
I have no idea.
Oatmeal chocolate chip cookies, because I asked her.
One word, bots.
No, that's for sponsors.
You heard it here first, gang. I'm ripping the cover off.
I kind of wish that would have been a lot easier. No, I think it's authentic engagement. I remember sitting down with LinkedIn and them asking me like why I post, when I post, and why I post, what I post. And I'm like, I actually care about the answers. And that's why when I ask a question like, hey, what's the best data viz tool to do a map or something? I actually care about the answers enough to go back and answer people and say, oh, thank you for answering, and really take the time to build those connections. And I think that's what really worked, because people can tell if you are using bots to auto post. And I think people don't even engage with those auto posts anymore, because it's pretty obvious that, at 2 p.m.
I was just kidding.
every Wednesday,
your natural enthusiasm comes through the screen. And the videos and I think the breadth of what you show people with your personality is just so human. So I would imagine people think they're friends with you when they're not quite friends with you, because you kind of show.
They are friends with me, Scott. Wait, do you think we're friends, Scott?
No, we're friends. But people who follow you, because here you are biking, and then you've got a marathon, and here's something about your family, and then you do all this other, such a wide variety of stuff. So I think that comes through, and that's part of the reason.
Yeah, I think a little bit of personal side, and somebody actually commented here that LinkedIn is good because here Chris said, I like LinkedIn better than other platforms because people are actually usually more professional and open to learn. And I think, if you can show maybe 5 or 10% of your personal life, you don't have to show everything. And I highly encourage you, don't show everything, because then it gets weird. See, Scott's already excited. So
it's a family show. Don't show everything.
So there's a comment right above that one, where somebody said about the negativity about data people being not more nerdy, but scared to be vocal because they worry about someone saying that they don't know what they're talking about. There's a certain segment of people out there who are just constantly correcting people and jumping on them whenever they make an error or maybe a mistake in the usage of some word, like saying, I don't know, logistic regression is not regression, right? Just debate the issue itself, not the phrasing, and make some contribution to the discussion. right? Don't just be constantly correcting people and jumping on them when they make a error.
Yep.
That's
And I
not
wanted to
cool.
share something with the group about.
I have to interrupt. That voice, Harpreet. Damn, I am jealous of that voice. What the heck? Who has a right to talk that nice? Okay, I'm going to start to imitate that voice. That is an amazing voice.
Oh, thank you.
Hello,
Thank
everyone.
You guys can hear more of this voice on.
I think Scott is jealous.
Saxophones are playing in the background.
It's the
Listen
microphone.
to artist of data scientist.
He's got a filter in there. He's got a very light filter.
Yeah.
Auto-tune.
It's the proximity effect.
Hey, baby, this is a read. Data science.
Andrew needs to speak because he's got a really
Sorry.
voice.
My voice is deep. I don't know if it's as deep as Harpreet's.
Oh my God! How do you guys have these voices? Damn it!
We don't scream like you do, Tom.
Yeah, I know.
Down a couple octaves. Yeah, just there you go.
Okay, sorry, I'm back down.
I wanted to go back to a point about Kate and how she got such a following. One of the things that I wanted to share with folks who have not had the privilege of meeting Kate in person, which I did over a year ago. Kate is not a LinkedIn personality. Kate is a person. How she presents on LinkedIn, she is just as warm, she is just as funny, she is just as enthusiastic in person. This isn't like there's the Kate filter for LinkedIn and the person. She is completely genuine. She's probably one of the most genuine people I've ever met on LinkedIn, and I think that's why I gravitate toward her. I think that's one of the keys to her success, because who she is in real life and who she is in LinkedIn, she's that same incredibly sharp, incredibly quick, funny, warm, generous person.
Thank you. Oh my God, I'm like blushing here. I remember our meeting very clearly. I remember our meeting very clearly. So I think I've only met you. I only met the Scotts in person and Jordan who left, but yeah, I remember you walking like 30 blocks in a hot summer day to do a LinkedIn Live with me. And then when we tried
drenched
to do
in sweat, and instead of Kate going, "Oh my God, what happened to you?" She was like, "Oh, did you have a long walk?" I had a very long walk.
I
didn't know what would happen next. There's this guy who's drenched in sweat, and I've never met him before. And I'm like, all right, let's go in the conference.
This is going to go well.
And then the LinkedIn Live didn't work for the first 10 minutes, where we thought we were live, but we weren't really live. So we had to redo the intro, and it was just, I couldn't stop laughing. We still have that session on YouTube.
We were both like punch drunk. By the time we asked the first question, we couldn't stop laughing because
I didn't say your name. Yeah, it was pretty funny. Yep. So, okay, let's see. There's a question here from Natalia. ThinkLinkers. Scott, I think you know her well. She's asking, what do you guys think about the new feature of LinkedIn Stories?
It's not in the UK.
It's a mess.
Let me see how my story is doing. It doesn't get as many views.
And it's right. I know it'll get there, and I'm supposed to be patient with it and that kind of stuff. But people are just like, "Hey, how you doing? Now we have stories. What would you like my story to be?" The thoughtfulness that goes into posts, I don't see going into stories. And there's an opportunity there. But it struck me that it's gotten it's taken the casualness up a whole bunch of notches. So if you think of LinkedIn as certainly a business environment, and most of the connections are like if you were at work, stories is that guy by the elevator who just wants to chit chat about the weekend, and you got to go to a meeting. I just it'll settle down, but it's just so far I'm not that thrilled with it. I wish they spent more time on making sure the tagging functionality worked. So in listening, we love you, but fix the tagging functionality. Yeah? We'll all be happier.
How many people do you want to tag?
Unvarnished opinion.
I feel like you want to tag all of LinkedIn in your post.
Right? We are always complaining about the wonkiness of tagging.
Yeah, you get tagged and you get missed.
Or you get tagged and it goes away, or you put it in, or you edit it. I mean, just the whole tagging ability seems to be, it could use some work.
Yeah.
I saw a question earlier. I thought it'd be quite a good one to answer, which was around how we're making money out of this. And
I have a
Yes,
job.
Greg, can you talk about how you guys actually make money at this?
Kickback.
Make money on being on LinkedIn Live with Kate? No, I don't make money doing that. I get, make money at work, and all this stuff is just for just contributing back to the community.
I'm having fun. This is my idea of a good time on a Friday. Well, it's still morning, I guess. I was going to say afternoon.
Can I share a story about the money?
Yeah, you do that. I'll be right back. You share a story.
Okay. Back to you, Kate. Okay. So when I first started in the field, it was a very, very long time ago, and I was invited to speak at a conference, and I was thrilled. And I go running into my coworker's office, and I go, Beth, isn't it fantastic? I've been invited to speak at a conference. And I did not get the response I was getting. So she leans back in her chair, she folds her arms, she raises one eyebrow and goes, do you really feel qualified to speak at a conference on data science? I was like, well, I did 30 seconds ago. Now I'm not so sure. But I was determined that if I ever got an opportunity to participate in this field, that I would make sure that no one who contacted me would ever be made to feel that way again. And this was 1995. And that image still sticks in my head over what happened to me and how I was treated trying to break into the field. So I don't do this for money. For me, it's not about money's great. We all love money, but I don't get a penny out of this and never had, but that wasn't my intent. For me, it was an opportunity for other people who don't have a background as a developer, who don't have a background as a statistician, to be able to enter the field. I had a personal family emergency. My son was kidnapped by my ex, and I had to move all the way back to Maryland and give up my career of 15 years. I was a VP of consumer lending at Bank of Hawaii, and I had to give all that up to move all the way back to Baltimore to be able to try and figure something out. And to be able to stay afloat, I had to work as a temporary secretary for a while until I could find something else. And then I was like, gee, I wonder if that artificial intelligence, data mining stuff, if anyone is interested in that, I wonder if I could do something there. So I had to rebuild my entire career. So I know what it's like to be on the outside looking in. And so I wanted to be able to reach out to others. So for me, it's not the money, and I have no idea how to make money from this platform, but it's not really my interest. But and I apologize for oversharing here or being overly personal, but there are a lot of folks trying to break into the field. It can happen.
But I think it's a myth that you make money doing this. None of us are here because we're making money. We enjoy what we do. We enjoy the company that we keep.
Look at Scott Taylor. Scott.
A little bit.
It's been my philosophy that I mean, you shouldn't put money front and center of everything you want to do. It will be a byproduct of you putting out good work and good content and good quality, right? Like even when I became a data scientist, I didn't become a data scientist to get paid a shit ton of money. I became a data scientist because I wanted to help people make better decisions, right?
Yep.
And I think sure as hell did not create the podcast to make money, because I would have been.
I mean, I think my situation is a little different because this is literally what I'm doing for a living now. So after having had a decades-long career working for brands like Dun & Bradstreet and Nielsen and so on, I leapt out and went, all right, I do consulting, but I also do a lot of public speaking. People have been talking about the fear of public speaking. My fear is to not do public speaking and, creating content, webinars and all that. And I get a continual, leads or people reaching out to me going, okay, we like the way you talk about this. Can you do our event? Can you do something with us directly? So indirectly it gives me that. And it's been a blast. I mean, a year and a half ago, it was a leap off the ledge going, all right, can I make this happen? And it's been a miracle as far as I'm concerned. It's been spectacular. So it's there. It depends on what you want to get out of it. That's what I wanted to get out of it.
Yeah.
Because again, that's what I'm focusing on my career, is to do the stuff I loved the most throughout it, which was speaking, writing, videos, all that kind of stuff. So,
but if your speaking, writing, and videos weren't good, if you didn't pursue it like it was a craft, then nobody would want to give you money for it, right? So you put that front and center, the quality of what it is that you're creating, focus on that, and then the money is secondary. It will come in.
Yeah. It's definitely, it's a pull strategy, not a push strategy. So it's, you don't talk about how well you do something. You do it. And if it is good, people will be attracted to it. And the great, one of the great things about this platform is you get some pretty immediate response.
Have any of you guys, oh, I'm sorry.
The what?
Have any of you guys ever heard of a guy named Frank Kern? Don't worry about it. Anyhow, he does a lot of training stuff on how to make money on the internet from a legitimate business. And that's neither here or there. But he has one of my favorite quotes of all time. The best way to demonstrate you can help someone is to help someone. Meaning, if you want to be able to sell courses, or you want to do sell consulting, or you want to sell something, so a lot of people are out there, oh, I don't want to give away my secret sauce. I don't want to give away my approach for this, or I don't want to give I don't think that's the big concern. You help, demonstrate you can help people. And that's going to be, oh, well, this person's already helped me on step 1 and step 2, and maybe step 3, 4, and 5 would follow from that. I don't think you lose by sharing. I think you lose by, I've got this secret vault of stuff that I won't share with you. People don't respond well to that.
Not anymore. That's the old model. Yeah.
That's exactly where I am at the moment as well. So obviously Data Science Infinity, that is my job. It's launching this month. I finished up contracting at Sony PlayStation in March, I think, and I've had no income for the last 6 months, like a lot of people, but mine wasn't a COVID-related loss of income. It was a personal decision, but this is my job. I'm trying. I guess I use LinkedIn as a vehicle to showcase the value that I can add to your data science journey. So I don't make money from LinkedIn. I make money from Data Science Infinity, but I have to, exactly like you just said, I need to showcase what it is I can do, because nobody's going to give me any money just because I said, hey, I've got a course or I've got a program. You genuinely do need to show them what it is they're going to do, or show them. So a good quote when thinking about a core or anything to do with learning is, it's not about the information, it's about the transformation. Where are you taking this person from A to B? Not, I've got 200 hours worth of content. That's here nor there, right? That's 200 hours I could be wasting, wasted time. But if I can say, this content plus the support I'm going to give you, that's going to get you from A to B. That's what people want to know. And they want some proof of that. And you do have to show them. You exactly like you said, you can't just hold that back as a secret. Because there is, the thing with data science and everything else, there's all of this great content which is available for free. So I need to differentiate myself from that free content, and I'm doing that through this unlimited lifetime guidance and support that you get. Plus, all of the content is, like I said, I haven't been earning any money for 6 months. I've been spending that 6 months very meticulously curating this content so it's as intuitive and understandable as possible, because while there is all this free content littered everywhere, how much of that is good content? Probably a small portion of it. So you can try and learn everything you want to be a data scientist, or you can have somebody who has been there, done that, and has spent a lot of dedicated time creating this content for you. And that's sort of how I'm positioning myself. So I'm trying to use LinkedIn as a vehicle to show people that.
That comes full circle back to the brand reputation and character, right? So you've built that personal brand for yourself, that you're a person of high integrity, you value quality, and that's going to attract those people to your course.
Mm-hmm. Andrew, I think that was a great commercial for your course right now. You should use this recording somewhere else. This is perfect.
I understand.
I wanted to plug it at some point.
The infinity part, right? So it's this endless lifetime.
Never ends.
Yeah.
3 weeks. Yeah.
I would claim I made that up, but that was my wife that came up with that one. And I
liked it. She's part of the team.
I thought it was Buzz Lightyear, to infinity and beyond.
Well, yeah. Maybe she stole it from him.
Probably.
I won't tell Buzz if you don't.
Yeah. Let's keep that under the carpet.
Scott, you've got some nice comments here coming in saying thank you for sharing your story. I know it's not easy to share personal stories, but I think they do help others who might be struggling in their own ways, and just hearing that.
And I apologize. I didn't want to turn this into Scott's story of woe. The reason why I shared the story, and I didn't for probably the better part of 2 decades, and it was my ex-wife who ended up taking my son. And it all ended up happy, and he has a happy career, and he's 24. So I'm not trying to be woe as Scott. All I'm saying is I had been on the outside, and I felt for a long time like I had my hands on the glass of the store window looking in, and like, how am I ever going to make this happen? And I'm not saying it's easy, but I am saying it's possible. I tease with people that the first half of my career, everybody told me I couldn't have a job in this field because I didn't have a PhD in statistics. And that's changed in the second half of my career. They now say I can't have this job because I don't have a PhD in computer science. So, do what I can.
Just to echo what T. Scott said, like I literally would not be sitting here today if my first business hadn't failed. Because I found my data job as an ad online and I went bankrupt after that. And so I really did have to start from scratch again. So, wherever you are now, there, you put the effort in and you find an opportunity and you just run with it.
What's your guys' take on, we were talking about posting, like talking about personal stuff. What's your take on posting stuff that is non-data related?
I do share, I think because I'm a business owner, I share bits of my journey, and every year I do a blog on the things I've learned in business. If people, normally I talk about how I got to where I am in podcasts more than on LinkedIn, but I think the odd personal thing works really well. People want to see more than just data. They want to see the whole you.
Yeah, because you're like, we're more than just data professionals, right? Like I like to post stuff just because I think they're cool ideas that need to be shared. And if all you do is put yourself in a data science bubble, a data science echo chamber, it doesn't bode well for a fully rounded individual.
I'm doing lip sync videos that are more popular than a lot of my data posts. I mean,
Well, you also sort of knock it out of the park. She doesn't do bad lip sync videos. Her lip sync videos are pretty darn impressive.
And they're all about data. You stay consistent, so it's at least the same topic area. I I try to be a little more strict with myself and just cover the data management space at the level I cover it, and then anything that's related to it, it's sort of a data related thing. But I've done some personal stuff that are related to that.
Someone can't find Andrew. Andrew, how people find you? And someone has background noise. I know.
Someone doing the dishes.
Ooh, quiet now. Whoever. Tom, I see you, Tom.
I guess my name is extremely common. It's probably one of the most common names in the world. But
Andrew Jones, yeah.
My name at the moment on LinkedIn is Andrew Jones Data Science Infinity. I'm going all out with the marketing, but maybe that'll help you. But otherwise, I can post a link definitely.
Okay, yeah. You can also when we're done, you can go on LinkedIn and just respond to people. And people and a bunch of others are saying they're enjoying the session, so they want more sessions like this. I'm happy to host additional sessions where we just pick a topic, jump in, and all share our thoughts if you guys are up for that.
Totally.
Awesome. And
cliche, but
I'm heading up the interpretive dance video session on Kate's later, but
Bye, Scott.
And now enters Tom's shower talk.
Okay. We saved Tom's shower talk for the chat room.
We've got a comment here from Karina. So, T. Scott, you're like the most popular person here, and you joined us late. So she says, thank you for sharing the realistic experience of breaking into data. What would be some advice you have for someone trying to break into the industry from a non-technical undergrad background? And everyone, feel free to jump in. I know this is directed at Scott, but if you have thoughts, share them.
Yeah, it's hard for one thing. And the reason I say that is not to discourage you. It's just to set expectations. It's difficult. What most employers want is someone who's doing the exact same job that they want to hire for 10 years at their number one top competitor and will come in for less money. The reality is that's what they're looking for. To try and break in, number one, ironically, it's often easier to transfer in your internal organization if they have any IT staff, if they have any computer component, and try and work in that area and make a lateral transfer than to try and go out and come back. Number two, do not quit your day job. This is going to take some time. People want to see practical experience. Make sure that you have, and I'm talking for data science. I'm not talking about and specifically machine learning and AI, because that's sort of my deal. They want to see practical experience. They want to see a GitHub repository. They want to see actual projects that you've done. Join volunteer groups, join AI for Good, join Athletics, which is Dr. Beverly Wright's program to help work on charity efforts. You need to have practical experience. You need to be able to say, I did this specific thing to get this person to this place. Those are the things that are going to help the most. I would say quitting school or quitting your job and going back to get a master's degree is usually a bad idea, not because I would ever discourage from education. I am all about education. It is the fact that a lot of the master's degree programs have terrible placement departments and takes a lot of time and money. Be careful with the boot camps. Check out their placement before you check out their courses, because if they can't place anybody, it doesn't matter what they teach you, you're still in the same boat. MOOCs are great in theory, but everybody is offering a certificate in everything these days, so it is very tricky to actually translate that very well to a new job. Go ahead, Scott.
Bye. I was just saying bye. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Kate, for having this. You know I'm on deck for you anytime, and I'm going to keep watching even though I'm on a call, so watch what you say.
Thank you, Scott. All right.
Bye, everybody. Love you.
If I could piggyback and answer that question for Karina as well. So, I mean, as part of Data Science Dream Job, we've mentored over like 2,500 aspiring data scientists.
Wow.
And this is a very common question. A lot of people come to data science from a non-data science background. The first question you need to ask yourself is, are you an individual that is capable of learning new things, right? Because you're going to need to continually be learning new things to get into data science, like to expand in your career in data science, right? Once you've established the fact that you're actually an individual that is capable of learning new things, and you've identified that you don't have the technical skills right now at this moment yet, then the next step is, all right, cool, let me go start learning these technical skills. And then becomes a challenge of figuring out, okay, there's a shit ton of noise out there on the internet about what it is that I need to learn. So it would be a good idea to align yourself with a mentoring platform, maybe Data Science Infinity or Data Science Dream Job, to help somebody guide you that process, right? To talk to you about our day-to-day experience, what we're using, because otherwise you're just going to spin around in circles trying to study everything under the sun. So that would be my advice.
We've got some good comments from a few folks here on the topic. So Shalom is saying, this is why I don't take job descriptions too seriously. I agree. Any job I've applied to, I remember having 1 year of experience, and I think I applied to something with 8 years plus. I'm like, okay, well, if they like me, yes. If not, no. So if I don't apply, then it's definitely a no. So it's worth applying as long as you really think you can deliver at least some value to that company, right? And then you can learn the rest. Avery agrees. Starting where you are is key. If you can get in with your current company, that's key, because you've already proven that you're a capable individual. I think people are more willing to take a chance on you. They know you personally. It's easier than going in cold. And Shalom also says, everyone who wants a job, show your work, right? We learned in school. Show your work. So we know you actually know what you're doing.
That's what I did. I didn't know where I could fit in, so I just start a business.
Yeah,
I agree.
I'd like to. Oh, go, Andrew.
Sorry. Yeah, thank you. The idea that you don't have enough experience is almost what I would say is a myth. From a hiring manager point of view, or an interviewer point of view, I've never once been sitting in an interview talking to somebody going, I really need this person to have 4 years of experience. It's all about what value can you bring to the team and to the business. It's not about the number of years experience you have. I guess the thing with experience is it makes it much easier for you to portray the value that you can bring, because otherwise you are sort of showing a portfolio of projects, whereas somebody who has worked at several other companies in a related field, that's much more easy for them to demonstrate that value. But it's not, there's not a strict correlation between experience and value that you can bring. So there's people who've been working for 20 years in the field perhaps, but don't fit the role as well as somebody who's been working for 2 years in the field. And it's about as simple as it sounds, it's about the value that you can bring to that team. So don't worry too much about having experience. The experience thing is more a filter that recruiters use to try and pull together a list of CVs that they can then send on to a client and be confident in sending those on. So that's the tricky bit, is navigating the recruiter. Once you've actually sat in front of a hiring manager, that conversation becomes a lot easier, but it's trying to get through that initial stage, which is the tricky bit sometimes.
And even when it comes to applying for stuff, right? Like applying for a job where you think you don't meet the qualifications, that's not the same thing as walking into a grocery store and taking a bar of candy because you don't have the money to pay for it, right? Nobody's going to chase you down and like yell at you and try to arrest you for applying for a job. So yeah, to Kate's point, it's whether you apply or don't apply, the outcome will be the same, right?
Yep.
Let me just add real quick. I look for themes in LinkedIn posts and just think, what do I know where I can contribute to the community? And one thing we're looking at right now is this concern, and I get it. People need to eat, they need to pay rent, they need a job, but they're thinking they have to start out as a data scientist.
Yeah.
And my biggest, I'm the biggest fan right now of Mandeep Budhaja. I struggle with her last name. She took a job. She's a very smart, promising data scientist, but she took a starter job as a data engineer. And she got confused when I got excited about that. And I said, Manpreet, do you know how many people would be better data scientists if they started as a data engineer? And then
all of them is the answer to that question, by the way.
And then once you get good at being a data engineer and you're doing that role well, you can start to apply data science to improve your role. So be excited. And then we realized from looking at many other comments on many other posts, we really need to do a post on helping people see you need to have a be, do, have mentality in that order. Be a data scientist and do data science work no matter where you're at. You could be a waiter and improve that restaurant using data science skills.
Yep.
And if you do them well enough, that restaurant's going to want to tout, we have our own data scientist here. That's why we're so profitable. I mean, don't let your role title dictate who you are. Be a data scientist. It's comical to me. Most of my career, I've done a lot of data science work, and really most of my career, I didn't have a data science title. Shutting up now.
I would say as well, so I've never been scared to start at the bottom again. So I might have risen up to a certain level somewhere and then taken a change of course of direction. So I've dropped salary or whatever to go and learn, because I do think that you can be much better at what you do if you start and work your way up, and like start as a data engineer, do a bit of that and get a rounded view of the organization or the role.
Yeah, I don't think there's a hierarchy in the data field within a company. Like a data analyst or an inside analyst or a data engineer, they're not below or above a data scientist. They all add value just in their own way, and in most cases they're very overlapping remits anyway. Data scientist is just a title that a lot of people are after, and to their detriment sometimes when interviewing, that can mean that they're limiting themselves. You could be an insights analyst and do more data science than some data scientist does. And again, like, what is data science? It's such a broad term anyway. So I completely agree with what Tom said there. There's no hierarchy per se. Get a role that you want and that you're passionate about, because you're going to do so much better and you're going to add so much more value that way than just looking for a title where you may be miserable in the role. Look for something that you can enjoy and that you can really be proud of.
Yeah, Shalom is saying here he took a 0 salary, just his pension and some side hustling for 5 years when he studied on his own. And if you can afford to do that, that's...
I think it's different now. When I was coming out of uni, there was still a bit of a job for life mentality, and that's changing now. And I would say don't be afraid to try different roles. Experiment and find what you like. I wish I'd done that much earlier. Yeah. I spent my whole 20s doing jobs that I hate, that I actually didn't enjoy, that I thought I should be doing.
I remember, when I was in a role for a year and I moved to another position, it was better salary, better career, better everything. People around me were like, oh, people are going to think you're moving too much. Like, your resume is going to look like you're hopping around, because a year later I moved again and I got even more comments like, oh my God, your resume is going to look like every year you move. and no one's going to want you. I'm like, well, obviously they want me because they're want to hire me. So that doesn't seem to be a problem. And it was actually my husband who told me that. He's like, why are you so worried about your resume if you're actually getting job offers? And so I haven't updated my resume in like 8.5 years or 9 years at this point. Because what's the point? Well, I don't want a job anymore. I love working for myself. I'll do this as long as I possibly can. I know some people like the stability of working for a corporation. That's fine. But I've definitely understood that this is so much better for me. Being my own boss. I love it. Just like Susan, right?
Yeah.
and even if you've had those types of squiggly career paths where you've worked in different types of roles, that's not like a bad thing, right? You've developed some unique skill set in each one of those roles. And I guarantee you, it's not going to be all of a sudden that these skill sets that you've acquired through the course of your career become useless. That's never the case, right? Yeah. You could take what you've learned and apply it going forward, right? That's just how humans work. So shouldn't be a deterrent for you to think that just because you've bounced around a little bit, that's a negative.
And I agree. I think it can be a positive, right? Like you could argue that you've got a broader skill set than somebody else, or you've seen more things, or you've worked closer with a marketing team in one role and you've worked closer with a product team in another role. You can bring all of that to your new role. You can argue that it's a positive, not a negative.
Yep.
Honestly, I don't think I'd be able to...
go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry. I don't think I'd be able to do what I'm doing now had I not done all those jobs in my 20s. That's all that coming together has formed what I'm doing now.
I just want to add something to this great discussion. And I'm really good at talking about this because I sucked at it earlier in my career. The most powerful attribute of a data scientist or a data evangelist in general is caring. Get in, figure out where's the business bleeding the most and where can you serve up data to provide insights to fix that. And the other thing I'm learning, and I should have known this a long time ago, but I confess I'm still relearning it, is find ways to do deliveries of value frequently. And my biggest hang up is, this won't show off my skills enough yet. Oh, stop that. Just give them something that gives some immediate value. They're probably going to be far more pleased with it than you would have imagined. And I lost sight of that a while back, and I'm regaining it and just getting excited about, okay, what's the next little increment I could give you that would make things better? It's certainly a much better way to be an effective data.
Yeah, and like David Epstein, that's his name. David Epstein wrote this awesome book called Range, and he's making that same argument that coming from a wide variety of, or just knowing a little bit of everything, being a generalist, so to speak, just bodes better for your career going forward. So definitely, if anybody is feeling, I guess, self-conscious about their diversified experience, check that book out. Amazing.
I think nowadays people are much more open to a broad and varied career than they were when I started out. You know, it really was a more negative thing back then. Like, why have you moved around so much? And then you have to like come up with a reason why.
Yeah, and talent stacking is really important too. Having skill sets that at the surface of it don't look like they fit together, but they fit together in a unique way where now I've become a type of individual that nobody can go to school to become.
Yeah.
Right? Here it is that I'm a data scientist, statistician, podcasting, graphic artist with a pretty good writing ability, right? That's a unique combination of skill sets that makes your brand invaluable and irreplaceable.
See, I'm a little different. I'm the type of data scientist that no one wants to become. So, it's the same sort of thing, but, not exactly.
I'm going to change the title of the episode for our podcast to How to Be a Data Scientist Nobody Wants to Become.
Hey, look who's here.
Hey.
Ben Taylor is in the house. Hello.
Hey.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah.
Raise the roof.
Raise the roof, yes.
What are you guys talking about? I heard
a little bit of everything here. But before we throw questions your way, you want to do a 20-second intro so people know who you are?
Sure. So some people know me as an online troll a little bit in the data science community. I worked at Intel, worked at a hedge fund. I ran data science for HireVue, which is a Sequoia company, and I had a deep learning startup that was acquired by DataRobot this year. So
nice.
Wow.
But AI is life. It is kind of core to my purpose, in addition to family. Constantly fighting between those two priorities.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us. We started out talking about tips for online networking and engaging the data community, and then have shifted to basically whatever it was people wanted to talk about. So any comments or questions that have come in, we're just addressing them as they come.
That sounds like a fascinating topic. The quick that I had is fight to be remembered, which is really, really hard, because if you go present at a conference, 100 other people did. How is your talk any different? If you go to a networking event, 100 other people did. How are you any different? And so you talk about this too, Kate. I really obsess about storytelling. So everyone is fascinating if they tell the right story, if they tell their story. And good storytellers are remembered.
Fight to be remembered. I like that. I was just doing a tutorial for Data Science Infinity, which is around how to answer questions about when you get asked in an interview what the biggest mistake you've made is. And I think the best way to go for that is to, prior to going into any interviews, think up the biggest, most catastrophic mistake that you've made and talk about that, as long as you can frame what you learned from it. But like the bigger the mistake, the better, right? As long as you, like I say, you can frame what you learned from it and how you fixed that, and going forward. I think that something like that, rather than fearing a question like that, see it as an opportunity to be remembered.
Well, Andrew, on that point, lean in. So some people that are more vulnerable, where they share mistakes that expose them more, they overshare, those are the ones that generate the most empathy, they generate the most attention. So if you're holding back because you think something will make you look stupid or make you look bad, those are the stories that should be shared.
Yeah. And like every person in the data field has made some massive mistake in their past. So it's only going to build rapport with the interviewer. So don't try and pretend like you've never made a mistake, because that will not build rapport. People will see right through that. But if you can share something ridiculous that you've done wrong, that it's really going to build a subconscious or conscious rapport between you. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, this is a great topic, because I'm actually working on 3 talks today, and the goal is they have to be remembered for 5 years. And so it doesn't mean I actually achieve that. I just kind of write down, this talk has to be remembered 5 years, and I kind of go down this list of requirements, because it's working backwards from the talk. Because I don't have the title, I don't have the topic or the abstract, but I'm deciding that these are the 8 rules I have to achieve, and that allows you to work backwards for a talk track.
Yeah, I think a good way to address something like that, Ben, is if you think, or if we go around our virtual room here and think about what talk do you remember from 5 or more years ago, and kind of what were those factors that triggered that memory. I think you can kind of use some of those. And now I'm trying to think. And then I think it was Kirk Bourne's talk that immediately triggers in my mind, because he actually told a hilarious story. I don't remember the exact talk, but I remember that it was a story about mismatched socks, and he actually had mismatched socks up on stage, and he made like a whole thing about it. It's something I'll truly never forget. The presentation was great as well, but that's the first thing that comes to mind. I don't know if you guys have something to share about a talk that you heard from years ago that you still remember.
Well, just a couple things real quick on advice I got that was helpful in terms of always being remembered and fighting to be remembered. One of them was, people will forget everything that you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel.
Yes, Maya Angelou.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. There you go.
You have to.
Excellent.
You didn't learn.
I didn't know that. Now I know.
Didn't learn his lesson.
And the other one is actually Zig Ziglar, of all people, and it is people don't care how much you know until you know how much they care. Now that may be a little bit of a silly aphorism, but think about the 2 points that come from that. They need to understand that you want them to be successful and to help them as part of your talk, and you need to be able to convert that into something they can feel. And that is sometimes hard for us in the data field. There's a limited number of people who entered this field because they love person-to-person communication so much. We're kind of the rare breed. There are several folks who came into the field because they're more comfortable with numbers and concepts, but you have to be able to do both, no matter which side you came from.
Yeah.
So I've got to drop off here, but I'm gonna, like, Ayush is asking a question about solving the Python versus R debate. I'm gonna solve that debate for you guys right now. Look, people, it's not that hard to be good enough at both to solve a problem. So quit the fucking debate and just learn what you gotta learn enough to solve a problem. All right. You don't have to be the best at Python. You don't have to be the best at R, but just, you know, if you end up in a room full of 100 random people and they say, hey, we need somebody to do this problem in R, just be amongst the top 15% that could solve the problem. All right. End of discussion. Like, learn each one enough.
I gave you a little zoom in there, so you can.
Thank you for
Not
that.
only does he have the voice, he's got to grab the microphone and allow me to settle this debate.
Take care, everybody.
I mean,
it was fun.
Good to have you on.
Good to see you.
All right. So the tool doesn't matter. I agree. I get this question a lot in the data visualization space. Like, what's your favorite tool? And I tell them my favorite tool, but it truly doesn't matter as long as you can do the job or just use the tool that the company's already provided for you. Most of the times it's going to do the exact same type of, you know, give you the same result or do the same job. You just have to learn it, get comfortable with it. But I know people want to start somewhere. So I always recommend to start with the one tool, right? Yeah. Either programming language or a data viz tool or, you know, classification tool for Susan and other things. But learn how to use that one really well. And then from that point, it's so easy to transfer that knowledge and those skills to other platforms, other tools, other languages, because a lot of the stuff is the same as long as you have that baseline understanding of it.
Very true.
Yeah, I mean, like for Python versus R, I mean, I can't remember any Python stuff off the top of my head. So I just try and remember what it is I need to be doing. And then I figure out, you know, the code syntax that I need to do that. So if I need to do that in R as well, I guess I could do the same thing, right? Because that when I'm interviewing somebody, that's what I'm looking for as well. I'm not looking for somebody that can memorize code. I'm looking for somebody that knows the steps they would need to take. And if you can do that, then it doesn't really matter which language you use. It could be anything at all. Obviously, you know, sometimes it depends on the infrastructure that a company has. It can be much easier for you to come in if you do know Python, for example. But it should be more about like what it is you're doing rather than the coding tool you're using. But that's the point of the comment I think that Ayush made anyway.
The best data tool is Google. How do I?
I love that.
I'm actually excited.
That's so accurate, yes.
So Scott, Googling. Oh yeah, you go, Tom.
Oh, thanks, Ben. I'll be quick. I'm actually excited to see people start integrating the two because there's obviously some things that are easier and more elegant in R. I'm a Python guy, but JSON and File.io is so fast now. And it'd be great to start seeing some posts and some GitHub repos where there's been some brilliant integrations of the two.
So I lost a data competition to an R Shiny app, and I attribute it to the R Shiny app, where I thought this is bullshit. My analysis was better, but they had an R Shiny app, and it had widgets and things you could move, and so I don't see a very strong, compelling Python response to the R Shiny. The one criticism I love, not a criticism, it's a warning to throw out to R users. Really make sure you're not using R as a crutch. And what I mean by that is I used to be an expert MATLAB user. I could do anything in MATLAB, anything. And I felt like I was like top 5% or top 1%, at least from engineering. And I realized years later I'd been using it as a crutch, as an excuse to not learn Python, as an excuse to not learn these other things. And I would force MATLAB into production everywhere. Like at Micron and Intel, it was in production. It was in the fab, MATLAB. And I did that at the hedge fund. So it's really good to understand when the tools can be used for what types of things.
And fun trivia, Shiny now works with Python.
Oh, it does. That's great.
As of 18 months ago. I was surprised, just found that out. I was like, really? Wow.
Interesting. I'm just looking at the comments. Some people are just saying thank you and that this has been helpful. And they're thanking you guys, for sharing your thoughts, your advice, your experiences. You've energized people. I don't know who this is because it says LinkedIn user, but whoever that is would love to see more sessions like this. I agree. I think it's been fun. I think we could probably start to wrap things up. We've been on for an hour and a half at this point.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That time totally flew by for me. I was just going to say an hour, but it's been an hour and a half. But I do want to thank you guys and everyone who joined us previously, and all the live viewers and those who are going to view this in recorded fashion. I highly recommend you reach out to all of the guests that we had on the show today, because they really care about the data community. They really show up. They're always there, even though they have a whole bunch of other things going on. So as we wrap up, maybe you guys can just tell people where to continue the conversation if they wanted to. Is LinkedIn the best place to reach out, or is there another venue you prefer?
For me, it's LinkedIn, Susan Walsh, the classification guru. But you can also get me on YouTube. I have some videos and how-to guides on there as well. It's just the classification guru.
Awesome.
For me, it's LinkedIn as well. I'm on here all day, every day. Like I say, I don't have a formal job. My job is Data Science Infinity. So if you have any questions at all, there's datascienceinfinity.teachable.com, or just DM me. I'm not one of the people that you won't hear back from. I'll reply to all of you. So any questions at all, let me know.
What Andrew said. Oh, please, Ben.
Oh, sorry. I was just going in the order. Go ahead, Tom.
No,
sorry.
I wasn't sure the order. Thank you. LinkedIn, and I'm like Andrew in my responses. And also for the bigger questions that are more often, my blog team and I are at integratedmlai.com. We're trying to answer the bigger, more common questions.
Awesome. So I'm at DataRobot. I'm the Chief AI Evangelist. I'm on LinkedIn. Ben Taylor Data. I'm also on Twitter. I'll respond a month later on Twitter. LinkedIn, I might respond the same day. And then I also host a podcast called The More Intelligent Tomorrow. So it's a great way to engage if you have questions you want us to ask some of these executives that we interview.
Cool. Scott Clendaniel, look for me as T Scott Clendaniel, and the only reason I use the T is I have a cousin who's in IT who's also Scott Clendaniel. So, and also don't look for the Scott Clendaniel who does beer painting unless he's a fine beer painter. He's from Alaska, but that's why I use the T.
Awesome. All right, that's interesting. Now people know the reason behind the T. And for those of you who have not signed up for the Dedicated conference yet, if there are still people out there,
you must.
You must. Yes, it's free to attend, so I highly encourage you to go to storybydata.com/dedicated conference. If you need the link, it's been circling around for over an hour and a half. It's easy for you to find, but
it will follow you.
Yes, thank you again for joining us, and have a good rest of your day.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah,
thank you.
Thank you.